I think if you step back and look at this team now, there's a good young nucleus of players, and they don't have to take 2 steps back to get 2 steps ahead. They can win next season with the nucleus that they have in place, and that includes the young players coming back and some of the veterans that will be back on this team in 2022. The Eagles will have more cap money to play with, and Howie Roseman does a good job in terms of utilizing the cap to his advantage. They have 3 first-round draft picks. If they hold on to them, they can build another young nucleus of players around that. I think for Jason, it's about quality of life. He has 2 young kids now.
Welcome back, live post-game show. Mark Farzetta, DGunn, Devan Caney with you. Don't forget, grab a Stateside Vodka soda and try the new Surfside Iced Tea by Stateside Vodka. See the scroll below and use the code JAKIB for 15% off the very popular Stateside Vodka soda. Go to statesidevodka.com. Also, make sure you check out the JAKIB Media Twitter handle and find out how you can win a Devontae Smith jersey. Not too bad, giving away some of those. So make sure you check out the JAKIB Media Twitter page and find out how you could win a fine jersey of Devontae Smith. Real quick, folks, let's have some fun here for a second here. You guys want to play fake or real? Just real quick. You guys want to play this game for just a second here? Just tell me if this is a real player that played tonight or I'm just totally making it up, okay? Fake or real? Devin, I'll go with you first. Andre Hubbard.
Fake.
Fake, correct. All right, here we go. DGunn. Derek Jackson.
Fake.
Fake, very good. Okay, Jared Maiden.
Are these on either team or just the Eagles?
Just the Eagles.
Fake.
It's real. Come on. There we go. First one. All right. We were doing so well. We were 2 for 2. Here we go. All right. Gunner, Mike Caputo.
Fake.
Fake. Good Lord, my friend. Devin, Mac McCain.
Real.
Very real. He's a real human.
Real.
Very real. Gunner, Patrick Johnson.
Real.
Oh, my goodness gracious, Gunner, look at you. All right, next one up here. Devin, Noah Tagawi.
Real.
You're damn right it is. If I can't pronounce it, probably it's a real name. Very good. Let's see what else do I have here. Oh, this is a good one here. Christian Ellis, Gunner. Christian Ellis.
Fake.
I got you on one. That's I know.
Oh, that means we're tied. That means we're tied.
Oh, dead heat. All right, here we go. Show of hands. I'll watch you guys for show of hands if you want to chime in first. It's a 50-50 either way. Kerry Vincent.
Real.
Gunner nailed it with the real one.
I thought I would have said real too. You just jumped in there with the.
I don't play fair. I play to win.
All right, here we go. Devin, try to tie it up one more time. Here you go.
Oh,
real
boy.
or fake? Bobby Williams.
Fake.
You got it. Now, next time we're together, we'll have a chicken eating contest or arm wrestle or something. Very good. I was like, you know what? How do we go? I like these people right here. Daz is trying to play real fake. I'm just going to go ahead and say that you nailed every one of them, Daza or Daza. I don't know. We haven't met, but anyway, we got into a lot there with John McMullen joining us there on the show there briefly. I hope that DGunn and John McMullen enjoy their pumpkin spice latte that they'll have together in the not too distant future.
No. But I did want to say this though.
Yes.
Pertaining to Jason Kelce. And I loved everything that John said about him. And people have asked me this, and this has been my answer. I think Jason Kelce is a thinking man's offensive lineman. When it comes down to it, it's not about money for him. It's not about a ring. He has both. The last several years, he has talked about retirement. And in all the years I've covered this game, when players start talking about retirement, that means they're closing in on retirement. For Jason Kelce, it has to come down to mental, physical, and emotional elements of the game. Does he still enjoy playing the game? Does he still enjoy playing Jedi mind tricks with his body and mind to get himself up to go through the rigors of OTAs, training camp, another season? How does he perceive this team moving forward? I think if you step back and look at this team now, there's a good young nucleus of players, and they don't have to take 2 steps back to get 2 steps ahead. They can win next season with the nucleus that they have in place, and that includes the young players coming back and some of the veterans that will be back on this team in 2022. The Eagles will have more cap money to play with, and Howie Roseman does a good job in terms of utilizing the cap to his advantage. They have 3 first-round draft picks. If they hold on to them, they can build another young nucleus of players around that. I think for Jason, it's about quality of life. He has 2 young kids now, and we hear so many players that talk about how they want to be able to run and play with their kids when they're done with this game. They want to be able to walk, and when they get to their 50s without the assistance of a cane or a wheelchair. And when you think about the CTE factor that has been so prevalent and prominent in the National Football League over the last 10 years, and we've seen some of the devastating results from CTE. We've also watched a number of young players in their 20s walk away from the game in recent years for the fear of CTE long term. So Jason Kelce has achieved everything he wants to achieve, and I do believe he's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer when his time comes. Jason Kelce can walk away right now and not look back, knowing that he gave everything he had to this organization. When people wanted to quit on him on the outside looking in, the organization never quit on Jason Kelce. He will never forget that. He will be a legend in this city for the rest of time. He has his ring. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame. He has his money. If Jason Kelce decided to walk away from this game after the season, you know what? More power to him for deciding when it was time for him to walk away instead of the game pushing him out like so many players are pushed out because they've overstayed their welcome. So that's where I think Jason Kelce is with this. Like Mark just said, John just said, he will let the Eagles know in ample amount of time if he's going to come back in 2022. If he decides to ride off to the sunset, you know what? Kudos to Jason Kelce for what he's been able to accomplish and what he left the city of Philadelphia.
I blacked out again after you said first ballot Hall of Famer. I'm all for that. Whatever puts him at any podium.
Man, you need to go to rehab, man. You really need to get to rehab.
It's not from that. It's from just being blown away by these opinions. But no, it's not many people will give him that credit. And I look, I'm rooting for it, that he gets into the Hall of Fame first ballot. I certainly think he is worthy of that. You look at all he's accomplished individually. He's won a Super Bowl. Look at all the guys he's been a center for that have had great careers as well. Certainly, I think a guy, and I still do not, I can't really think of any offensive lineman that get off the line of scrimmage the way he does. And next thing you know, he's 20 yards down the field. So that in itself, he excels at. As far as whether or not he will be back next year, it was starting to turn. And Devan, when you brought it up, I'm glad you mentioned it. Going into this game, obviously, in the conversation of whether or not it will be his last game at Lincoln Financial Field, I don't think it will be. I think he will return next season. And the reason mostly is because I don't think this is a year that you leave on. I think if it's a retooling or rebuilding year, and you already got to the playoffs with this younger core, excluding Jason Kelce himself, but you saw a lot of promise from Jalen Hurts. You have those 3 first-round picks coming in next year, whether they be defensive or offensive, whether you trade one for next year, whatever it might be. You have a team that showed a huge upside. If you're Jason Kelce, you're thinking to yourself, 34 years old, you'll be 35 in the middle of next season. Why not stick it out for one more year? I think that he really likes Nick Sirianni. I think that this coach has really identified well with this locker room, more so than a lot of us anticipated he would. But what's really amazing is that Doug Peterson is a former player. Nick Sirianni played, D3 college? He's been a coach for a longer amount of time than Doug Peterson in the NFL before he became an actual head coach. But I think Nick Sirianni has done something that I did not expect at all. He identified with this locker room of players, obviously, faster than anybody I could have ever imagined identified with him. I think the fact that he's so young has a big part of that. But I also think he just knows how to motivate players. And I think when you're around somebody, and Devan, I know you like to equate him to Ted Lasso a lot. When you're around somebody like that is that optimistic or that happy-go-lucky, sometimes that type of vibe is contagious. Did the second half of the season, did that schedule help? Absolutely, it helped. But he put these players in that position to take advantage of that second half of the schedule, because as we all know, you can only play who's in front of you. But when you take this team, they never bowed down to the rest of that schedule and became one of those teams that those other teams were looking forward to playing. Washington couldn't look at the Eagles and go, oh, well, at least we got the Eagles on the schedule. That's a win. No, they rose above that to become a playoff team, which bottom line is all that matters.
Yeah, I totally agree. And DGunn, back to your point of, if he doesn't come back next year, we have a lot of young talent and we'll be okay in the long run. But I would like to see Jason Kelce return at least for one more season because of what you both just said. This is such a young team. And I think what clicked is we found our identity. Nick Sirianni figured it out. Jalen Hurts figured it out. And Jason Kelce led them in that direction. We all saw his speech last week that had everyone like on their feet, literally just like casual fans saying it was like the most inspirational thing they've ever heard. I think they even played it on the ESPN broadcast again tonight. So you realize how important he is. And going back to Nick Sirianni's fertilizer plant speech that we all made fun of until Jason Kelce broke down a huddle with flowers and everyone's all in on it. I think his role, like obviously he's incredible on the field, but his role as a leader on the team is so important. And I think he needs one more season to help this team. Like Mark, you just mentioned, we're going to draft new players. We're going to get players in free agency in the offseason. And if we're already making it this far, then I think Jason Kelce is a necessary component to go even farther next season.
When I was on a pregame show with, Tim McManus earlier today on 97.5, he and I and Hunter Brody, we discussed this topic. And, and Tim brought something up and I said, I completely missed it. If you really look at the whole season, Jason Kelce has been more emotional in press conferences than we've ever seen him before. Not just once, not just twice, but 4 or 5 times this season. Is that a sign that he knows he's about to ride off into the sunset? I'm not saying he is.
Remember the Chiefs game? He was crying.
There you go.
With his brother, yeah.
There you go. I mean, think about this. A lot of times when you get to that point, is this the swan song? Now, I'm 50-50 on the fence. There's a part of me that believes he's going to come back for one more year just to see what they can do in 2022 with an improved roster that we all assume is going to happen, an improved roster. But in all the years that I've covered this game and all the players I've talked to who finally decided to bow out, the signs are there. He's been talking about it. Things have been a little bit more emotional, more passionate for him in a lot of ways. And it's going to be brought up again. Is this the last time we got a chance to see Jason Kelce at Lincoln Financial Field? Even though he was only on the field for one play, was this the last time he put on the Philadelphia Eagles uniform at Lincoln Financial Field? And we're going to find out soon enough. I would imagine we're going to find out before free agency starts what Jason Kelce wants to do. And that's why I say I'm 50-50 on the fence. Whatever he decides, I won't be surprised, and more power to him.
Interesting to talk about the emotions that he always goes through, because as we know, he's a very emotional guy. Is he so emotional where it's something that he would want to go through knowing it was the last hurrah? Like with all the speeches that he has given and all the times he's addressed the locker room and like Nick Sirianni allowing him to address the locker room at the NovaCare complex and the bubble and all that. I wonder if it's almost something Jason Kelce would use as motivation for the rest of the team. Like, is it something that would come out maybe in the early goings of a season that wasn't going the way it should have, where guys, this is my last year. I'm going to give you everything I have. Like I know that commonplace, or, it's common to say it in the off season. And as John McMullen said to us when he was on, saying that he's going to let the Eagles know with ample time, I wouldn't be shocked at all. I would almost expect it, a guy like Jason Kelce, to say this is going to be my last year and not that was my last year. Like, I wouldn't put it past him to go through that. And I know sometimes it gets watered down by calling it a, what do you call it? The farewell tour. I don't necessarily think of it like that with Jason Kelce, but I think he would want to know. I think he'd want everyone around him to know that this was going to be it for him. And he was going to leave whatever he had at the NovaCare complex, at Lincoln Financial Field, on the Eagles 17-game schedule. Like, I think of him almost in that regard, where he would let people know before he went into it.
Jason Kelce is not the kind of guy who draws attention to himself. He likes to stay low key, and he's smart enough to know that's not something you would mention to a lot of guys Even though those are your brothers in the locker room, if he had mentioned that in September, he would have been periodically asked about this all season. There's no way that would have been kept secret all season.
Mm-hmm.
Players have contacts in the media. Players have other people they talk to who have contacts in the media.
Oh, I'm saying he makes it. I'm saying he makes it public. I'm not saying he keeps that secret.
Yeah, but I'm saying, I'm sure he went in with the mind frame of, could this be my last year? I've talked about it for 3 years now. My kids are starting to get a little bit older. I want to be able to run and play with them. There's other things I want to do with my life, other ventures out there I might want to get into. I've served this game well. I don't owe this game anything. I've left a lot of pieces of me scattered from East Coast, West Coast, North and South. I've done it all. I've done something that a lot of players will never be able to do. I've been able to hoist that Lombardi trophy. Think about how many players play this game, not only never get to a playoff, but more importantly, never get to hoist that trophy, which is what every player plays for. He's achieved all those things.
Sure.
Outside of maybe wanting to possibly win another ring, or what else is there for Jason Kelce to achieve?
Nothing. Absolutely not. Nothing. He's done it all.
But
you're right.
Maybe he believes in the team or the future of this team and this group and Nick Sirianni, that he thinks he can get another ring. Maybe.
And there's no question about it. And I don't doubt that one bit. That maybe he could wake up today, and we all change our minds. He could wake up today and say, I don't want to play. But after the playoff game, whether they win or lose, you know what? I love the chemistry in this locker room. I think I'm going to play another season. We all do that. It's human nature. We all change our minds. So who knows? I'm sure he's gone through the gamut of emotions all season long in terms of what he wants to do and what he wants this season to be for him.
I think more so what I'm saying is, I think every year at the end of the year, we go, oh, is Jason Kelce going to announce his retirement, in the offseason? When's it coming? Is it coming? That type of thing. But I wouldn't be shocked if Jason Kelce announced before his final year, hey, guys, this is it. This is my last year. I've let the team know. I'm going to give this organization everything I have left for the last 17 games of my career, regular season games, that is. Like, I know we all talk about in the offseason, will he say it? Will he won't? I wouldn't be shocked if he actually announced that he was going into his final year. Like, for Jason Kelce, that wouldn't shock me.
No, but as I said a few moments ago, I don't think Jason Kelce would announce that to the organization for fear of bringing extra attention to himself before a season, is what I'm saying. I wouldn't, from what I know about a Jason Kelce, he doesn't want the individual attention. It's never about him. And even when I've talked to Jason Kelce about individual accolades, DGunn, you know what? I get where you're coming from, but that's not what I'm about. I get that. He doesn't want it to be about him. And if you put that out there for an organization, it's not going to be kept secret for an entire season. In this world of social media we live in, nothing's secret forever nowadays. We all know this.
Yeah, you're giving ribs to agents and stuff.
Wait. You have no confirmation that I've ever given any agent ribs.
I have my sources.
No,
you kind of said it. You indirectly said it earlier.
No, unless you show pictures or videos, it doesn't exist. That's my story.
I'll work on that. I'll work on that.
Noted.
I have sources too, DGunn. I'll ask around. Don't worry.
I guarantee you will never find a picture or video of me ever giving ribs to an agent. I'm just telling you. It doesn't exist.
All right. Agree to disagree. All right.
If either one of you can find this video or picture and I can verify that it's not doctored up, you have a front row seat at my table for ribs.
The challenge accepted. I've gotten pretty good at Photoshop.
Go ahead.
But we've mentioned, and we got a couple of minutes before we got to hit our next break here. Do you think Kenny Gainwell playing as well as he played tonight? And granted, it's good tape. And anytime a player gets the football, they got to give you good tape. There's already questions about Miles Sanders' future with the Eagles. If he doesn't play in the playoffs, what are the odds we see Miles Sanders back here next year versus not seeing him back here next year?
I think this organization would do everything in its power to get a Miles Sanders back here.
Okay.
And I think you can get him for modest money. You're not going to have to break the bank to get a Miles Sanders back here. It all depends. Does Miles want to come back here and be a role player and share the spotlight, or is he looking for a place where he can be the man? That's what it's going to come down to. Now, if they wanted to, they could slap a tag on him if they wanted to, but I don't think they would do that. And we've seen and it's shown that you don't need one running back like a lot of teams do for your offense to run, for this machine to run well. you can plug and play a lot of different types of running backs in this offense. And if you stay true to this running game, it's going to be effective. So, Miles is going to have to understand that, look, you're not going to break the bank here in Philadelphia. We're going to try to take care of you and fulfill some of your dreams financially. But if you decide to move on, hey, we wish you well. We'll just bring in another one.
But do you think it'll be his decision? Like, I would think that maybe the Eagles they're already so deep at that position that maybe they don't need him. I don't know.
There's a possibility, but it depends on what kind of relationship this organization has with his agent and what kind of numbers the agent's looking for compared to what kind of numbers realistically the Eagles are looking to pay a running back when they have other areas to address in the offseason. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah. I mean, I think if we keep running the ball like we are next season, which who knows, because we all know it's not what the organization wants. They want pass happy, but
right.
He'll stay. If it's like what it was at the start of this season where we run the ball 2 times in 1 game total, then if I was a running back, I wouldn't want to be on this team. I'd want to be on a team that uses me.
I think, yeah, I'm being corrected here, and you're right. It's going into his last year of his rookie deal. He's going into his rookie year. So my mistake. You're right, Lamar, and I was looking it up at the same time. Lamar, thank you. But yeah, so I guess next year would be the prove it year for Miles Sanders after that.
Mark, your comment. It's 1 a.m. You guys are getting weird. They are getting weird in the chat.
They are getting weird, Devin.
It's getting a little weird in the chat.
That's the easiest way I could come to a co-host defense. All right, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, and it's not you, Gunner. All right, so when we come back, we're going to give you our game balls for this game and maybe even for the season when it comes to the big turnaround that the Eagles had this season. So that's when we come back here on Live Postgame Show.